Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and here I want to touch up on a video I did a while back while I'm working on my '57 Chevy Cameo here, and I'd gotten to a certain point on it where I figured I can answer some of my own questions that come up in that video. But to bring up some brief history on that, Matt at Model Car Videos, he did one on his Cameo about the windshields not fitting. And I had heard that a couple of times before, but I never really looked into it. But I had a bunch of these kits lying around. Had a couple of these, different, kind of different box arts, but they're really only like a year apart, pretty much same tool. This is the original release that came out. And then I also had this Coca-Cola release that was one of the most recent ones. And then I didn't really have this one in that video, but also this step side one, which is what he had, was a step side and had some issues with it, but the cabs are all the same. So and in that video, I checked out the bodies, measured with my dial calipers, the distance here, and all the bodies seem to be the same here. And this is my original 55 body, and then the kits after have this body, but they all seem the same. Now, during that video and checking out all of that stuff, I noticed that all the windshields seem to fit differently, and seems like it had to do with probably wear and tear on the tooling, I would say. But like this kit, the windshield fits okay, but the latest kit, this one, the windshield fits the best. So, and then it seems like these mid-year, mid-range ones, not quite so good, because this one's from 98 and 2000s. So here's like the one for my, first release kit and how it fits in here. So we'll get it in there, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap, and then we had discussed that, but there's a little bit of a gap. This one fits a little bit better. It's got a little bit of a punch up right here, which is one of the reasons I can identify it, but fits fairly good. And then here's the one that was in my 57 tooling, and these kind of sit in here kind of awkward, the way they mount. But that one's definitely got a big gap there. You move it up, the gap's at the bottom, so you move it up or down, there's a gap. So can't really do much about that one. White glue will kind of fill it in. It will kind of, disappear a little bit. And, the same is with this one, as far as the windshields go. So if I can hold on to these, that was a problem in my last video, was trying to hold on to these windshields and not drop them through the body, because they pretty much just rest in the opening. So same thing, my original one, a little bit of a gap, original release, and then the 57, that one's the one with the, the biggest gap of the ones I've got. But the latest, the Coca-Cola release, has this windshield, and I mentioned that tree had been, you could see that the glass was flipped, modified, and the windshield was definitely bigger. That one fits nicely, and same with this one. So my thoughts were, all right, so if that's the case, after you paint and do all the body work and everything, how much is that going to be swallowed up by that layers of paint? So like this one, it's got a layer of primer, layer of scale finishes colored paint, and a layer of clear plus the bare metal foil. So, and it's not too thick, but it does bring it up a little bit, but my hood still fits. Sometimes I have that issue, but it still fits. And then you've got the visor also, which you can glue on there, and it will hide the gap at the top, which I like the visor. I'm probably going to add it, even though that's an aftermarket accessory, but that'll hide the gap as well. So, now that it's painted, the original first issue 55 tooling, it does take up a small amount of the gap, but that one fit pretty well already. Okay, so, and then the 57's windshield still has, the gaps, they didn't go away. So it was marginal. And then the Coca-Cola release, so much better. So still a lot fitting. So They definitely updated the windshield and the tool and everything, so it fits a whole lot better. So that's definitely obvious, and it's all in the windshields. So depending on when your kit was made. Also, many of you brought up the original releases body's flaw, which I had to look into because I wasn't catching it at first. Then I realized you guys were talking about down here where it swoops up into the windshield. So very obvious right there that it kind of swoops up. I probably wouldn't have noticed, but when you compare it with this one, you can see more straighter and just goes right to the windshield, but it has a dip. So you put the two side by side and you can see the differences there. So okay, got that. I wasn't going to use one of these bodies, so now I have a body to use with that 55. So that'll be used when I do that. But don't have a whole lot of Coca-Cola issues to get all of the glass from those, because that's definitely the preferred kit for the windshields. So that makes a lot of sense. And if you think that's bad, this one has a resin body, which is from Jimmy Flintstone. And this body is spread out. I mean, so much so that you can literally put that in there. So that really pushed the cowl down, and windshield is really tight, but the updated windshield fits in there really nicely. But if I squeeze the body, the cowl goes up. You can see it, and definitely makes up with that. So, but it's definitely a tighter fitting, but it looks like this windshield was made a little bit better for these ones. So if I can get it in there again, squeeze just a little bit, and it brings the cowl up, and then the windshield fits on this. So this one definitely seems to be a little bit better as far as most of the windshield fit, other than being spread out. So I have a little bit of issues with that, but that's that Suburban body. But anyway, that's just another project for another time. But fun stuff. So anyway, also on this thing, while I was working on it and having some fun with it, I'll put all this other stuff away, was all of this bare metal foil. So I finally got my sheet of bare metal foil, but look how much I used on this. Easily a fifth of the sheet. So quite a bit of foil on this, but it's not on the cap because I'm really just foiling the handles and then around the windshield and the handles, and right here, just a little bit of chrome trim, and then the rest of it's white. So although I'm trimming most of it away, these are strips that were like an eighth of an inch maybe wide, but came out nice. But this took a couple hours of work right here, and then literally 3 hours or more doing the bed sides. But oh man, that was but good chunk there, right down the fronts there. There's some up here, and then of course across the top, where this is fiberglass on the real car, and then this is a metal bed. So they're just fiberglass fenders on the Cameo that bolt right on it with extra trim. Pretty cool. The intersection is pretty much the same as a step side bed. It's just that these panels are mounted on it. And of course, the tailgate and everything. But that's where most of the foil goes, because I decided I was going to foil those strips. So, oh man, like I said, I foiled them, and then I brush painted the wood. I'm not completely done here yet, but I've got it pretty much done. But I might do a little bit of black wash, a little bit of streaking, with the wood on it, and see if I can get it a little bit more realistic. But I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking right now. But oh man, that was a good 3 hours or so. So couple of nights and everything. So roughly 5 hours of foiling, but pretty happy with the way this thing is coming out. And then get the body on here. So this thing, it's going to be done pretty soon. So real happy with the way this is shaping up and getting there. So, this will be done pretty soon. And hopefully I get a whole lot of modeling time where I can get some work done on the Mustang. I got some body work I need to do to that. But in the meantime, I've just had a couple of hours here and there. So, playing with some of these other ones that I can do inside, because I really can't do some of that other stuff at the moment. And I got life and projects coming in the way and taking my modeling time away. But that's kind of what's going on and why it's been a little bit slow on some of the progress on these builds. But This one's coming along great, and I'm really happy with what's going on. But I wanted to share with you the um, results on the glass and what I'm finding here, because that's kind of what started this project. One I've been wanting to build, and I'm kind of craving a truck, but it's almost done, and it won't be much longer. But now I gotta glue all this stuff here and detail the glass a little bit better. And all right, you guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate it, you guys. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope you get a lot of good modeling time. And I'll see you next time.